introduce our youth witness tonight, Adam Straczynski from St. Lawrence in Buffalo. This young man endured a lot of pain in his life. And part of it is being bullied for 6 years. And I'd like to introduce Adam.
Hello everyone, my name's Adam. I'm 16 years old and I'm here to tell you my story of moving through temptation to salvation. It's been a long and challenging journey, and along the way, God opened my eyes and got me back to the road of faith. I've been really blessed throughout this journey, and the sacrament of reconciliation has been a really big part of it. Around a year ago, I was in a really dark place. I was suicidal and really depressed. I caught myself and thought about killing myself a lot. I lost my connection and faith in God. I didn't believe anymore, and I didn't know what to do. I felt like every time I asked God for help, things would just get worse. Other kids made fun of me, and things were just on a downward spiral. I thought that I didn't have anybody, and that nobody really understood. Well, one night, I was home alone. I was really depressed, and I was about to kill myself. Before I did though, I went to God one last time, hoping for a sign, an answer, anything really. I said, God, if you're really out there, you gotta show me something. Stop this from happening. Give me a reason not to do it. My parents walked in the house right when I was about to do it, and that was for me a sign that God wanted to stop it. I didn't want to tell my parents. I felt like a bother. But that night, I told them that what I was going through and how I was feeling. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. That night, I went to Father Joe, and he's one of the reasons why I'm here today. He spoke with me for about an hour and a half and set up a counselor for me, which really helped. But the most important thing that really helped me was, I think, going to confession and talking to a priest. After that night, I was on the road back to believing in faith. I realized God wouldn't give me something I couldn't handle. So if I felt like he was pushing me a little too hard, deep down, I knew I had what it takes to pull through. When I went to confession, I confessed my sins, losing faith in God, self-harm, and testing God's powers. Father Joe blessed me. During my confession and afterwards, something changed. I felt so different, and that the feeling was unexplainable. It was like I just got out of a nice cold shower after I worked out. I felt relaxed and calm. I felt cleansed and one with God. I had all my friends from CLI there to help me get through this time. It was such a big help. The connection that I have with some of these people is unbelievable, and I don't think I could have gotten as far as I did without them. A few months later, I went to Young Christians at work. I went to confession again. I talked to a priest, and I told him what was happening and how I lost my faith, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to believe anymore. He talked with me for about a half an hour and about how kids sometimes question their faith, and this was normal for me. After the talk we had, I realized that God is where I find peace. He is my strength that keeps my head up. I realized that he's the light that is leading me to the place that is everlasting. God is now my everything. After confession, it felt like God calmed the storms. Everything I was going through just disappeared. God, faith, was all I really wanted. After that, I not only felt mentally healed, but I also became physically healed. During this time, I was overweight and pre-diabetic. After these experiences, I used the words the kids made fun of me with as motivation. I started working out, and now I'm down 79 pounds and no longer pre-diabetic. My doctor says I'm one of the healthiest. I'm also no longer depressed, and I've used the tips and skills that I've learned in counseling to help my friends and others. Our convention theme, Through Temptation to Salvation, means a lot to me. It really described my journey of moving through temptation. The temptation to give up on God, to give up on life, to believe that I was worthless, and with God's help, especially through the sacrament of reconciliation, I moved through the temptation and found my salvation. God has saved my life, and his ultimate and unconditional love and forgiveness is my guide to complete happiness. If any part of my story sounds a little bit like your story, if you struggle to move through temptation, if you're really looking to make a change in your life and your heart, I encourage you to go to confession tonight. Jesus is here with all of us. We can meet him in the Blessed Sacrament. We can meet him in confession. He's here waiting to help us with our temptations and show us the path to our salvation.